Hello, and welcome to Digsketch, a channel dedicated to digital sketching for architects. If you saw my first couple videos, those were general overviews for the Wacom and the iPad. My next few videos will be short, focused tutorials on specific tools and techniques to help you jump right in and experience the benefits of digital sketching over traditional media as quickly as possible. After that, I'll focus on different types of drawings, such as how I do floor plans or sections or various ways to diagram an idea. So today I'll be going over pen types and line weights, which is basically the brush tool in Photoshop. For those of you who requested my brush settings, I'll show you how to import them. There are a ton of other free brush settings you can find online. You just got to Google them. Mine may or may not be the best suited for the type of drawings you do. So let's open a new file and hit B. That switches you over to the brush tool. And just a general tip, you really got to learn the keyboard shortcuts for all the tools you regularly use. V for move, M for the marquee selection tool, L for the lasso selection, Control D to deselect, W for the magic wand, U for the line tool. And you want to position your keyboard so your non-drawing hand can hit these keys while you're drawing. Or you can set up some of these on the Wacom's little express key remote, which I actually find quite annoying because it automatically shuts off all the time and you need to constantly switch it back on. It would be better if they just put the physical keys back on the screen like they had on the older models so you wouldn't have to keep doing this. So anyways, after you hit B, right-click to bring up the brush settings. And another side note, I set the back button on my stylus to be right-click. You can customize this in the Wacom's preferences. So click the gear, then import brushes. You can move these folders around and reorganize them, delete them as you wish. So in my brush set, you'll find pencils, pens, markers, miscellaneous. The different pencils will all have different thicknesses and opacities, same with the markers. In the miscellaneous folder, you'll see there's a brush called Thin Fat. I use that for my eraser so that the harder you press, the fatter the brush gets. And you'll also find different brushes for hatching. For colors, I'll keep the swatches window handy and just expand it when I need it. Over time, I've developed this palette of colors I typically use for most of my drawings. For plans, I'll typically block things out with hard lines and pencil with a scaled grid. Once I have a grid in place, I'll create my own scale for the drawing. And you just need to hold Shift down to draw straight lines. You'll notice if you keep holding the Shift key down, it will connect all of your lines, which can be annoying when you don't want them to be connected. Hint, hint, Adobe, it would be nice to toggle this off. Someone had asked me about this, and the solution is just to let go of the Shift key between the lines that you're drawing. And I've developed a habit of actually tapping where I'm about to begin my next line before drawing it, and then pressing the Shift key. This will prevent it from automatically connecting to the last line. The issue is Adobe didn't design this for architects. It's called Photoshop. But with just a few adjustments, this really could be a powerful tool that could completely replace the traditional drafting board. But a good example of how it performs better than a traditional tool is the roller ruler. This is something that architects use to draw parallel lines. But now I just draw a straight line, hit V to switch to the move tool, then hold Alt and drag it down. So you can see this is much faster than using an actual roller ruler. If you press R and drag, you can rotate the screen. Then use Shift again to draw hard lines. But this is another area where Photoshop could be greatly improved for architects. Imagine being able to save a grid rotation so you could quickly jump back and forth between different rotated grids, kind of like UCS in CAD. And so here's a quick example of putting these things together in a quick elevation sketch of a storefront. I'll typically sketch out the base drawing in pencil, hardline, trying to get the key dimensions and proportions in place. Then I'll ink over it in freehand with different thicknesses of pen. Here I have a wall sconce that will be repeated, so I make a new layer, draw it, then hit V for move, hold down Alt and drag it over to copy that layer. Then I use my hatch brush to give it a little shading, and then use a thick pen with a light opacity to give a little shadow to the signage. And lastly, I'll add callouts, descriptions, a title, and the scale. And I'll put each text element on its own layer so I can move them all around afterwards, after writing them all out. And you just hold Control and click on each item to select its layer to move them around. I'll hold Shift down to draw a straight underline, and then keep holding Shift and tap on where I want it to point to connect that line to the underline. And that's it. But there is a lot more to the brush tool, and I'll go over the brush panel in detail in a future video, along with how to create your own brush and hatch patterns, how to create your own fill pattern. But I'm really trying to keep these videos short and sweet so I can do them on a regular basis. If you have any requests, just let me know in the comments. And if you found any of this helpful, please give this video a like, and I'll see you in the next video.